70% of people who add something to their cart on your site will never check out. 70%. And that's not a typo. And here's the thing that most store owners don't realize. If you only have a checkout abandonment email set up, you're missing the majority of these people because cart abandonment and checkout abandonment are not the same thing. Cart abandonment is when someone adds to their cart but never even starts checkout. And checkout abandonment is when they start entering their info and then just bail. Different triggers, different flows. Most brands only have one. In this video, I'm walking you through exactly how to set up a cart abandonment flow in Klaviyo step by step. This will sit alongside your checkout abandonment flow and catches everyone who never even made it to the checkout page. So I think to get started, I think the biggest thing to understand is the difference between cart versus checkout. So the cart abandonment is when someone adds an item to their cart and then leaves, right? This is actually going to be a majority of people that come to your site. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are going to be browsing products, checking out different product pages, etc. But then after that, there's also a big bucket of people that are adding items to their cart, but they don't get past that. And then there's people that start the checkout process. Now, most brands, they have the abandoned checkout flow, which is only targeting people that have initiated a checkout, but is not targeting anyone that is just added to cart. And so the main difference, like I said, cart abandonment, they add to cart and then leave. And then checkout abandonment, they actually get to the checkout page, they enter their info, and then they leave. And again, you're missing out on a lot of people by not targeting, abandonment flows to people that are merely just adding items to their cart. And this is a lot of people, and you need really both flows to capture everyone. So the reason why you need both flows is that checkout abandonment only catches people who started checkout. Cart abandonment catches everyone else. And so without both, you're leaving money on the table. And so there's kind of a 4 email cart abandonment structure that I like to follow. And this is very, very similar to the abandoned checkout flow as well. The only difference really is the trigger, but I like to kind of use the same strategy across both because more or less the user or the buyer has kind of similar intention. So just an overview of high level overview of the timing and the structure. So email 1, we want to send about 1 hour after someone adds to cart, doesn't initiate checkout. Email number 2 is about 24 hours later. That's kind of more of a social proof email. Email number 3 is the mystery discount. And then email number 4 is another 24 hours later. And that's going to be kind of a plain text final chance, also mentioning the mystery discount that we're offering. And by the way, I have a really cool free resource for you. So if you look in the description of this video, you'll see a download link to access my 126-page document that goes over everything that you need to know about email marketing in 2026. So this covers everything from list growth to deliverability to flows, campaigns, A/B testing, literally everything that you need to do broken down into extreme detail. And so you're going to find a lot of value from that. It's completely free. Just go ahead and click the link and download that down below. So email number 1 of the abandoned cart flow, that's going to be kind of our gentle reminder. Again, we're going to be sending this 1 hour after someone adds to cart. And, we want to have a unique attention grabbing headline that stands out in the inbox, right? Because think about it, people have a very, very high intent at this point. And so we want to kind of capture that intent and further capitalize on it by having attention grabbing headline, especially on the subject line. And then in the email itself, we want to remind people of the items that they left behind. Obviously, we want to have a dynamic product block inside the email. So that dynamic product block is basically going to show people the exact product that they added to their cart. And so if they click on that link on that block, it's going to take them directly back to the cart page, ideally. So this first email is basically like a gentle nudge, not really too much pressure yet. We'll kind of save that for the second, third, fourth email, but we want to have one clear CTA back to cart. So if you actually look at the structure of this email from top to bottom, it's actually very, very simple, right? We want to have a nice headline that calls out that they, abandoned their cart. We're going to have a dynamic block and then right under that, a simple CTA. Nothing fancy going on in this email, no crazy bells and whistles. Really just want to kind of gently remind them of what they left behind. Now, email number 2 is going to be the social proof email. So that's where we really want to start to build trust. And we want to have like a headline that sparks curiosity as well. If you think about it, people that are adding to their cart, they are very, very interested in your products, but sometimes they don't have the trust that they need. Like they don't know if your product is going to work or if it's going to work for them. Other people are having a good time using your product, that sort of thing. And so because of that, trust is a big issue. Sometimes price is an issue as well, but a lot of times trust and social proof is an issue. And so including that in this email specifically, it's going to be really, really beneficial. So typically I like to have 2 or 3 customer testimonials specific to the product or the brand, and then some social proof elements as well, like star ratings, review count, endorsements. That's really going to make people feel comfortable with actually, going through with their purchase and jumping over the hurdle. Also, we definitely want to have a reassuring CTA, see why everyone loves it. If you guys have like a money back guarantee or any sort of like satisfaction guarantee, I feel like that's also important to include in this email. But again, I think the main premise of this email is just pure social proof. So including really, really great testimonials that you have, that's going to be super beneficial to include here. Email number 3 is my favorite, and that's the mystery discount. So we're going to be sending that around 24 to 48 hours later. And so the hook here is that we're going to be putting a gamified twist. So we're going to be saying something like, hey, we have a mystery discount for you, unlock up to 40% off your order. And basically the premise of this is that this is revealed only when they enter the code mystery at checkout. So because they can only access this code when they enter this code at checkout, it really builds curiosity and it creates a strong pull back to the site. And the reason why this actually works so well is because let's say that we are offering and we say something like, hey, get up to 40% off your order. Could be, 10% off, 15, 20% off in reality. But that curiosity brings them back to the checkout page and they enter the mystery code. They think it could be up to 40%, but even if it's 15 or 20%, at that point, they still see like a reduction in the subtotal. They see that they're getting significant savings. They're already at the checkout page. So at that point, most of the time, they just kind of follow through with their purchase. And so the goal is just kind of capitalize on that mystery, saying up to 40% off, when in reality, it could be a lot less than that. So the execution is we want to have urgency messaging, ends in 24 hours. We want to have the dynamic product block to refresh interest. And then, the CTA, reveal your discount, our tri-code mystery. Really just want to build that intrigue and build that sort of curiosity there. Email number 4 is also a really powerful one. And that's a plain text final chance email from the founder. So if you're the founder of your brand, one thing that'll be really, really important for you to do is to kind of have a personalized message, kind of serving as a last chance reminder for people to complete their purchase, use the mystery discount, etc. Having a plain text email is really going to humanize the brand. It's going to make customers or potential customers feel like, hey, this brand owner actually cares about me. They actually care about my experience, and they just want to make sure that I'm making the right decision. And so with this plain text founder email, you want to be personal, you want to be direct, but you also want to be urgent as well, because again, you mentioned the mystery discount, you mentioned that it's expiring. So definitely want to remind people that the discount code is about to expire, and you want to repeat the code as well. So if, for example, the code could be mystery, the code could be really anything you want, but you want to repeat the code. You want to have an encouraging tone as well. So just like a heads up, you don't want to like hard sell them and leave like a negative taste in their mouth. You should be like, hey, just a heads up, the mystery discount code is still available, but it expires tonight if you'd like to use it. And then, simple CTA, you can still use your code here. This email works insanely well. You can even, use similar emails for like the welcome series, abandoned checkout, site abandonment, browse abandonment, etc. Just the pure fact that the founder is reaching out directly to the customer with no design, just a plain text email, really looks like you're writing from the founder to like your best friend, basically. So that works really well. And so setting up this trigger in Klaviyo, very, very easy to do. So the trigger is actually going to be added to cart. So I'm actually going to navigate over to a Klaviyo account right here. And if you go into the Klaviyo account and you're on the left side here, you go to the metrics section right here, and you'll see all the different metrics right here on the left. So you'll see like active on site, added to cart, added to cart. The one that Klaviyo's old version of this is this added to cart with the gear icon. But ideally, you want to use the Shopify one because it just tends to track everything better. It tends to integrate better with Klaviyo. And so you want to have this added to cart metric right here show up on the metric side of things. And if you don't already have this, most brands don't actually have this from the beginning. So if you don't already have this, what you're going to be doing is going to integrations and then navigate over to Shopify. And obviously this is if you're using a Shopify store. And then you're going to click on add viewed products. If this isn't already checked, you're going to be clicking this, and then you're also going to be tracking behavioral events. So this is things like card updates, which is what we want. So you're going to make sure both of those are checked. There's probably going to be a link right here instead of edit. I already have this set up for this account, so it's not going to be going to the actual theme page. But if you don't already have this set up, you're going to be able to click both of these. It's going to take you to your theme editor, and you're just going to click on publish on the Klaviyo app embed, and then publish it again. Once you have that, the added cart metric should show up. And if it doesn't, I'm happy to take a look into this for you. You can just send me an email, siv@ltv-labs.com. I can obviously take a look at this for you for free and set everything up. But yeah, that should work in terms of setting up the added cart metric. And so just to confirm, once you've set that up, go ahead and refresh the page. And if you go to metrics, it should show up added cart metric right here. And there should be activity that's showing once you actually click onto that. So basically, once you have that, it's basically going to be tracking when people are adding items to their cart, just like they would, track, browsing specific products or initiating checkout, et cetera, et cetera. So the trigger is going to be added to cart. When you actually set up this flow in Klaviyo, you want to make sure to exclude anyone that has started a checkout or has placed an order, because then they'd obviously be receiving abandoned checkout emails. Or if they place an order, people are going to be, messaging you being like, hey, I already placed an order. Why am I getting abandoned cart emails? And so you really want to be careful with the filtering here. And I kind of break this all down in my 126-page email revenue playbook. And then again, the time delay, I like to do it 1 hour before sending that first email. For the abandoned checkout, I like to be a little bit more aggressive and do 30 minutes just because it's a little bit more higher intent. But the time delay, 1 hour is a great place to start with. Just an optional little tip. If you do want to add SMS, I think adding SMS to abandoned cart and abandoned checkout is a really, really smart idea in order to capture some additional revenue. So you can add an SMS alongside the email number 4, which is the plain text email that we went over. You want to keep it short and direct. So again, it's going to be sent exactly at the same time as the last email of your abandoned cart flow. And just as like an example, you want to just keep it super short. Don't lose your cart. Code mystery saves you up to 30% off, or whatever the percentage off savings is that you want to say. And you want to have the checkout now. And you want to make sure that this links directly back to your cart, not the checkout and not the product page, directly back to their cart, because that's where people left off in the funnel. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, you don't want to do anything too crazy on the SMS. Really, it's just a simple nudge. Oftentimes when people are receiving SMS on their phone, they're checking it very quickly. They're not spending a lot of time reading it. So all you need to do is just have a simple, gentle nudge, and you should be good there. And then, yeah, obviously you just want to test everything before going live as always. But yeah, that's how you'll set up your abandoned cart flow. And that's it. You now have a cart abandonment flow that catches everyone your checkout flow is missing. Quick recap, we set up the added to cart trigger with filters to avoid overlap. We built 4 emails going from gentle reminder to social proof to the mystery discount play, and wrapped it up with the plain text founder email for that final push. By the way, if you haven't grabbed the email revenue playbook yet, it's 126 pages covering the 4 pillars of e-commerce email: list growth, deliverability, flows, and campaigns, and many, many more things. Free in the description if you'd like to check it out. And if you're watching this thinking I'd rather just have someone handle this all for me, that's literally what I do. There's a link below in the description to book a free strategy call. No pitch. We'll just look at your current setup, figure out what's costing you money, and see how to make the most out of your email channel. I'll see you on the next one.